Questions for Coach?
Coach, I figured I'd just go ahead and get this out of the way. Obviously, Mack Brown back in Chapel Hill, new head coach of the football program. Can you just talk a little bit about your relationship with Mack and how you feel about him being back and taking charge of the football program?
Well, I'm excited. This time when you have turnover like this, it's mixed emotions because I was really sad what happened to Larry. Loved Larry Fedora. He was great with me. I enjoyed being with him, enjoyed everything about him. And I've been in coaching now in college game for 41 years, 5 years at the high school, so I've seen these things happen. But there is the sadness, and then yet Mack coming in, Mack and Sally, I visited with them a little bit last night. As you know, I got Mack to come and be my speaker for the Fast Break for Cancer breakfast this year. Go back all the way when I was with Mack from, I think he came in December and I left in July or August, something like July, I guess. And so we spent some time going back and forth to Rams Club meetings. And I had a Carolina Blue Mustang used to ride back with me because I could get out of there quicker than anybody else. And he would get there and spend some time, but when I finished and he was ready, I rolled. We stopped and had us a soft drink on the way back. And so we were together 3 or 4 times like that in the car. And I've always considered him a friend. And then when I'm in Kansas, he's at Texas, and we go down to play in Austin one time. One of the first years maybe that we had changed over to the Big 12. And I went over just to look at their, at that time I was probably still sprinting, much less jogging, and then jogging and walking now, just walk. But we went over there to the place and ran into Mack and Cleve Bryant, and Mack spent probably an hour with us, giving us a tour of everything. So I enjoyed that part. I'd go see him every time we'd go to Austin. In 2005, I'm back here, and they're playing in the national championship game, and I got his new number at that time from Dick Coop, who was a mutual friend and former professor here. Called him, wished him good luck, hoped he'd win his first national championship. And, was it 9 or 5? 5. 5, okay. And they did, and then later that year he gave me the same kind of call. But I think he's a wonderful person, very organized, great with people, great with kids. I didn't get to see him coach because, again, I left in July, but I did follow the Tar Heels, as I've done every day I've been breathing since I knew it was here, and loved what he did with our program. And he's going to jumpstart some things that will be really good for us. But it's, again, it's you also have that sadness about Larry too. You can't just jump up and down because that means that something bad happened to somebody. But I'm ecstatic that Mack is here.
You don't have a crystal ball, but why do you think it will work the second time around with Mack?
I thought it worked the first time around too. So, and he's even more successful at Texas at the biggest stage you can have. I think I heard him either last night or this morning saying that he's a lot smarter, more mature. All of us are. Usually means just we're getting freaking old, but I think he's coming along. He has the package that we need at this time, more so than we did at the other time. I really believe, I wasn't, needless to say, I was the last guy on the totem pole when he came, and I thought Coach Crum, Coach Crum did a nice job. He won our program, won 4 straight bowl games, but we needed Mack's attitude and his gregarious personality with the alums at that time. That was really important to us. And first 2 years were really difficult, but after that, they were pretty good.
He mentioned using the basketball program to help his program. From your side of things, how do you think your program helps in that sense?
Well, in the past, I'm not going to say what's going to happen this year, but in the past we've won a lot. And kids like to come see that atmosphere and a winning program, and we've won on a big stage, and that's been good. And I enjoy doing it. I recruit for, there's not many programs, if any, on this campus that I haven't helped them recruit. And I enjoy doing that. I enjoy talking to the kids. I bribe them. I tell them if you come to school here, and I can get you better seats than the coach can. I've even told kids, if you come to school here, I'll let you sit behind the bench a game. I've even told a kid to come here, I'll let you call the first play of a game. So I do all kinds of crazy stuff. They forget it. I don't ever know if I haven't had anybody take me up on the offer of calling a play, but I have had some guys say, remember, Coach, you said I could sit behind the bench. And so I've remembered and I've done that, but I enjoy recruiting, I enjoy helping people, and you know, think about it. I mean, we've had some great chancellors and great presidents of the university, but this is my school, and so it's easier for me to do those things.
If I can transition over to basketball real quickly, Coach. Your thoughts on Michigan? I mean, what makes that program so good, you know, outside of John Beilein with them getting to the national championship this year and the potential they have this year to possibly get back to the Final Four? What will make them a formidable opponent for you guys tomorrow?
They're players, and I love John. John's a good friend, good coach. I like to watch his teams. We've carried some competition over the years about number of shooting drills and how many shots we're making compared to his guys. It's a little bit of a different team for him. I mean, they've always been known as a very skilled offensive team, great shooters. And, I mean, you just look down at the numbers here. I mean, their teams are shooting 32.9% against them. Teams are shooting 27.8 against them. His team has shot 80 free throws, and the opponents have only shot 65. So all those are on the defensive side of the ball. I'm not saying John was a bad defensive coach in the past, but it's a completely different team for him. Charles Matthews, I tried to recruit a little bit out of high school. I did not know anything, and I hate to say it like this. Ray Delkus, whatever his name is, my God, he can really play. I don't have a clue where the crap he came from, but I know he can really play when I watch him on tape. And so, again, it has to go back to John, because John puts it together. But their offense has always been very meticulous, very organized. Great diversity. They'll have backdoor cuts, they'll have post-ups, they'll have three-point shooters, they'll have drivers. It's a hard offense to cover. But this year, their defensive numbers. Steve Kerr, in his wisdom, says that they average 48.3 giving up, and we average 96.6. He said that is exactly twice. I'm telling you, I think if we score 96, I think we've got a better chance of winning.
So is the key to making sure you all do what you all did against UCLA and taking care of the basketball?
Yeah, I think, you know, if it's a low possession game, turnovers are always more important. If it's a lower possession game, if you play 100 possessions and have 12 turnovers, it's not quite as important as if you play a 60 possession game and you have 12 turnovers. If they get an open opportunity, they're going to run it, but if it's against a set defense, you got to guard, and you got to be patient enough, tough enough to guard for 20, 25, 30 seconds. But yeah, turnovers are huge, just as in rebounding. The rebounding margins huge if it's a small possession game too.
This is the 20th year of the ACC Big Ten Challenge, and a lot has changed in the landscape since they started it. There's more conference games now, probably more made-for-TV matchups that this was kind of intended to be. Do you think it still has value to continue the ACC Big Ten Challenge?
To the conference. Doesn't have much value to me because we're going to play a big-time schedule anyway. But I mean, we're not going from 18 to 20 games next year. We're going into 21 because this one's set in stone. It's some of the highest rated TV games they have. They're not going to do away with that. So, yeah, it's a lot different than it used to be, in my opinion. Because used to, those were really big. But I mean, in a 3-week period here, we're going to play three teams in the top 10. It doesn't have to be an ACC Big Ten Challenge, but Michigan, Gonzaga, and Kentucky, and then playing CB. I mean, we went, I think, twice this year. We've played 4 games in 8 days. Now we're playing 4 games in 30 days. But it's made for TV is what it is.
Coach, since the Vegas trip, what have you guys kind of worked on practice-wise that you feel like you have to address right away?
Not a lot. I mean, because we've gone 10 straight days, either games or practice for 10 straight days. We got back at 1:30 in the morning, Saturday morning. So we gave Saturday off, and then Sunday we just brought them in and watched clips. We did nothing physical. So yesterday is the only day that we've had practice. Cam didn't practice yesterday. We were holding guys out just to try to give them an extra day's rest. We'll have everybody available for practice today, and we'll try to get some things done, but it's also the day before game. So what we're looking forward to is some of those days where we have some practice time once exam starts, exams are over with. But in this shorter time period, you know, I think you get more accomplished letting them see the tape. And you know, the reason I'm yelling at you is because of this, and I think you gain more that than you do on the court. But first thing we talked about was taking care of the basketball, and we got to stop putting people on the line. Some of our really good teams have that stat that Michigan has now, that they make more free throws than their opponent attempts, and we're not there. And so that's a big thing. Turnovers, rebounding, guarding the basketball. We've got a lot of things that we've got to work on.
Playing point is such a difficult position, but especially for a freshman. What has Kobe been able to do to succeed this early, particularly scoring the ball? I mean, we all knew he could score, but that's North Carolina high school.
Why does that surprise you?
Right, I
He
know.
scored more than anybody.
It's different level, different assignment and responsibilities. Why has he been able to succeed?
You know, it's strange because I think it is hard to be the point guard here for me. I shouldn't say here, but for me. And yet, good gracious, I've had a ton of them. I mean, I went 3 straight years at Kansas, starting freshman. Marcus Page started here. Kendall started the second half of the year. I've had a lot of point guards that ended up starting their freshman year. So it is hard, it is complicated, but I guess one of the things I do is choose intelligent guys. And that has a lot to do with it. Kobe's he has a complete game. He can score, pretty evident by what he's done over his career. But he's a good passer. He hadn't gotten credit yet for what he does defensively, but he's going to be one of our better defensive point guards. He's 6'4.5". He keeps wanting me to call him 6'5", but he's 6'4.5". So that helps. But I think the biggest thing is he does have the whole package. And 2, he's proud of trying to pick up everything. It's a challenge to him, and he enjoys that part of it.
Kobe said about a week and a half ago that he had never had to watch film before until he got here. How has his game improved at a fast rate because he's now watching film? He's able to apply that element to improving his game.
Well, you know, it's like everything in education. You learn something at a different rate than somebody else. Sometimes when I put on that tape when we watch it, I mean, our guys are trying to figure out where they are, you know, not just watch what we're talking about. And so it takes some experience to get to that point where you can learn things from tape. And I think all 3 of our freshmen are going through that process right now. But I think it's helpful to them. It's human nature. I say you got to box out. Well, I did box out, and so I run it back and forth. And that old guy in the sky don't lie kind of thing. But I think seeing the big picture as a point guard is really helpful watching the tape. And again, our freshmen, very few of them watch much tape in high school. Some of your freshmen get watch a lot, but some of them watch almost none.
Coach, how happy have you been with your big man play from Sterling Manley and Garrison Brooks this season so far?
I think Garrison has really done a nice job. You know, you'd like it to be better than nice, but I think he's done a nice job. He's the most dependable, as I've said several times. Wanting to finish more around the basket, wanting to be a little more aggressive and those kind of things. Defensively, he's done a nice job again. Sterling hadn't gotten to the point that I want him. He's been fighting little aches and pains since the season started and since conditioning started. And but we need him to continue improving, need him to get better. I mean, I can go small, but I think you need to be able to play different ways. And so I like it when we're big, and then if we decide to go small, if they play well, I like that too.
Right, Nasir mentioned that he and Leaky first got to know each other through social media, and this was before you had started recruiting Nasir. And Leaky said that he was going to mention something to you about his interest in North Carolina. Did that ever come up? I was thinking about the J.P. Tucker told Marcus Page kind of thing. Did it happen?
No, Leaky's trying to get some credit. I don't remember that, but if he says he did it, but if he gives some credit, that'll be all right. But I do ask kids that we're recruiting, tell me if you see somebody you really like, their game, like their character, like their personality, tell me about it. Because as I'm talking about JP and Marcus, and I've had a lot of players do those kind of things, but that wouldn't surprise me because Leakey's a very intelligent basketball player himself.
In another social media related deal, Seventh had like something like 15 million views on YouTube for like his high school, highlights. When somebody has that much attention at that, he was 14 too at the time.
Is that better than that guy on TV's got the mower? says he had 127.
Actually, I don't even know what that
If it's
is.
on ESPN, if it's not on ESPN, I don't know. He does it, but at the end, he has the mow with just the exact width he needs for one more strike. Put it on social media, and he got 127 hits. I had asked somebody, I thought that was a lot, but it's evidently not a lot.
Not what some did. But
No,
I,
you know, 7, excuse me, go ahead.
no, I was just curious, in this day and age of recruiting, where guys get, you know, the attention goes infinitely, like, does that change your approach and how you know, because it's almost seems like an ego thing where guys can think their stature is bigger than it really is, you know, and that sort of thing. Does it change how you approach?
You know, you look at it differently, who you are. I mean, I never looked at it because I don't do those things. I had one of my coaches come in and said, this is the tape that everybody's talking about, and showed it to me. I watched, you know, which is only so many times you can watch it, I dunked it. And I never saw it again. We never talked about it. I saw that athleticism, but I saw it on the court also. But no, I think you're exactly right that people's ego really get up there and think that you're something you're not. Kendall Marshall was the best sixth grader in America. He told me. Because somebody showed me it was in Sports Illustrated, but I think it's more difficult for the kids than it is for coaches. We have to handle the ego, the mindset, the family's mindset, where they think the player is, where they think the player's going, regardless of the social media. But, you know, guys stay on that all the time. I mean, we brought a guy here for a visit one time, and we had a great practice. I'm telling you, a great practice. Kid never saw one play. He's sitting at the table the whole time doing that, so he didn't come either. Some of the things are my choice.
You said in Vegas about Nasir making the jump after the All-Star game, where nobody plays any defense anyway. Do you think it's time for people in the media to reset their expectations of him?
You know, Art, it's a good question. I don't even know, I guess, what's a proper way. I do care what people's expectations are because the kid hears that, sees that. But I mean, I had a player at Kansas that came out of nowhere and won the MVP of the McDonald's All-American game. He was the last guy picked for the team, and then all of a sudden, his whole expectations himself. And I loved coaching the kid, but his own expectations got so out of whack that it was really hard for him to feel that he was being successful. And so that experience makes me worry about what you're saying here. But Nasir, man, he's got a lot of great things about him. And I think that he's got to get way better defensively, but he's honest. I mean, I love his honesty. I said, Nasir, who are you guarding? He said, I don't know. I mean, it was the first thing to do defensively is try to figure out who the hell your man is, you know, that kind of thing. But I love him, and you know, what people's opinions of him, I hope will eventually be made by how he plays, and as opposed to a reputation, how he plays in the big games, how he gets better. So I guess I'd say, you know, that I don't know that if anything I say is going to make them change. But the only reason I would want them to change is if the kid's concerned about it, but I'm not concerned about them. I go in the gym all the time, and I don't care if anybody else likes the guy. We've got one guy on our team right now, the fellow coaching the ACC told me he's not good enough. He's good enough to play for me. And I told that guy, you know, you got guys on your team that can't play for me. So it's an easy deal.
And that person was?
Just
thought.
Yeah, just thought you'd ask. Because I had a weak moment.
Coach, another Nasir question. Is there any another player you've coached whose athleticism is similar at UNC with Littles?
JP could jump out of the gym. It wasn't quite the explosive, quick jump that Nasir has.
Noel, maybe?
Who?
David Noel.
A little still different. David wasn't. I mean, Nasir's is explosive. It is quicker. His fast twitch muscles are different. David was explosive, but not like Nasir is. Give me another example.
Barnes, maybe? Or?
No, Harrison was a work. He worked, he sweated. It was naturally, he didn't have that. I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad jumper, that's not what I'm saying. I mean, I talked to him and I said, why don't you just dunk it on the guy? He said, I've never dunked on anybody. I said, well, try it, you'll like it. So Harrison's was different too, because Harrison just worked and worked and worked and made himself into a much better player than God sprinkled in he does know.
So is Nasir the most athletic player you've coached at UNC?
I would think so. Give me somebody else.
Those are my names.
Who?
Jordan?
Well, I don't think I claim him.
We're trying to see what the
If you're
ceiling
gonna
is.
talk about that, yeah, that guy was pretty explosive. He's pretty athletic.
Bryce was a quick jumper.
Who?
Bryce Johnson, quick jumper.
Yeah, he had the quickness, but Bryce doesn't have the athleticism that, it goes back to Darren Hancock at Kansas and guys like that. Darren was only 6'4", but, I mean, I saw him jump. Guy tried to take a charge, he just spread his leg and jumped all over him completely. So I've had some guys that are pretty, but I think that, who was the dude that jumped over the tackler, landed on his feet and kept running?
Oh yeah, I saw that. I don't remember who it was.
Who?
Lamar Jackson did it, and
That
he
one.
was in
No, I mean, this is
Yeah,
this
it was-
week.
this
Yeah,
was like
that
yesterday.
jumped
The Seahawks
off.
running
I've
back.
seen Ezekiel, for
Yeah.
example, Ezekiel, whatever his name.
Yep.
I saw him, but this guy jumped over a guy and then evidently clipped the foot with it, so he did a complete somersault, landed on his feet and gained 3 more yards. That sucker's the most athletic.
And that would get a lot of views.
We get more than 127.
Coach, back to Michigan for a moment. I got a couple questions. I'm going to combine them from the James, the Detroit News. What have you seen from Michigan's transition defense that would pose a challenge for you? And two, I think they go together, how critical is it for you to control the tempo and not let Michigan slow the game down? So transition and slowing the game down.
Yeah, in transition, I mean, they find the 3-point shooters, they guard them. Best thing they do is they guard the ball, so their teammates aren't helping all the time. They take personal pride in keeping their guy in front of them. They don't pressure them up quite as much as we do probably, but they still do the best job of anybody I've seen so far this year of not getting beat on the dribble. If you don't get beat on the dribble, you don't have to help. If you don't have to help, that guy doesn't get the open 3. In transition, I think, again, Michigan's going to run when they have opportunities, but when they don't. So to me, the biggest challenge is being tough enough, patient enough to guard them for 20 seconds, 25 seconds, or whatever. It's hard to speed up a team that's really good to change their tempo, but I like to win. I like to win in the 80s and 90s, as I've said many times, but sometimes you have to win in the 50s and 60s. I don't know if I've ever won a game in the 40s, but I think you have to be able to play at tempo that you can score at. It's the biggest thing.
Anybody else for Coach before we bring Kobe in?
You did say 7th is cleared, right?
Yeah.
So how will having him back help you all?
Well, you guys saw it in the Texas game. Early on, Leaky wasn't nearly as comfortable as he was the next day against UCLA. And you can talk all you want about, son, I think you can do it, and I'm confident in putting you out there. But they get out there, it's like you're a deer in headlights for a while until you do get the comfort level. So I think that not having 7th out there challenged Leaky a little bit. I think he responded very well, particularly in the UCLA game. And I think it'll help us down the road with him more. Giving 7th week or so off is not going to hurt him. I always worry about somebody jumps that high and is that quick. The explosiveness also is harmful coming down. And so hopefully it's helped his knees and ankles and joints a little bit more too.
All right, thank you, Coach. We'll get